thing is crypto. Because the future expected return of crypto, it's been growing at 213% a year in returns. That's how much it makes, even though it's very volatile. Sometimes it's down 70%. Over time, you're making 213% a year. It has grown as an asset. It's gone up, I think it's 2 million % since inception. No other asset in all recorded history has ever done this. And we haven't even started. I still think there's probably another 100x from here. Not even the baby boomers got given that. This is the magnitude of what's there. So I'm screaming from the rooftops saying, you might be cynical. You might think you don't understand it. You might think you can't afford to play in this, but you have to listen, because this is the opportunity. You can't come back to me in 10 years' time and say, well, we missed all of that. All the rich people got richer. No, you, I, everybody else is saying, now is your time. Don't be irresponsible, dollar cost average, do all the right things, but here is your opportunity. This is the biggest opportunity I've ever seen, and I'm going to take advantage of it, and so should everybody else. This is not rich or poor. This is an every person opportunity, and we've never had this before, ever.
CEO and co-founder of Real Vision Group and global macro investor Raoul Paul, who prides himself on being a business cycle economist, investment strategist, and economic historian, is adamant in spreading the word. Crypto is the future. Crypto is your future. Welcome to Crypto Revolution. Get ready, because in this video, we are going to share why crypto is the biggest opportunity that you must not ignore, as now is the time to invest in it for future gains. Raoul Paul has always described Bitcoin as the single best opportunity we're ever going to be given in our lives, and is determined that as many people as possible need to wake up and consider the future financial freedom that lies within our midst. He isn't only keen on Bitcoin, but also believes in other cryptocurrencies. Don't miss out on the wealth of insight and information from this recent interview, as he breaks down how crypto is truly the future and how you shouldn't miss out on this opportunity. Watch till the end of the video to see what he has to say.
Worse about this is this affliction, this crypto affliction we all get, right? The rabbit hole, as it's known. You start with understanding money, which most of us don't think about. Then you kind of understand how we're getting screwed by central bank printing and the debt-laden economy and what it means. And then you start saying, okay, but that's Bitcoin, and then what's this Ethereum business? And then you start realizing decentralized finance, and you're like, it's kind of a finance thing, but that's kind of cool because I can get yields now. I can get, instead of getting zero on my bank account for my hard savings, I can now get 6% a year. Wow, that's a difference. It's like going back 25 years in time. And then suddenly NFTs come and community tokens, and suddenly your mind is completely blown that this is not just money. It's the entire exchange, transfer, and storage of value for the internet. Whole business models are about to change massively because of what this technology unlocks. And then once you get your head around that, you're like, oh God, I can't even hold this in my mind any longer. It's so big. And that it's not just buy some Bitcoin, I'm going to make some money over time. It's actually an entirely parallel financial system and business structure for the world. And it's being adopted faster than anything we can ever imagine. Bitcoin comes along in 2008, in the middle of the crisis. It's kind of like it was perfectly prepared for this and said, Satoshi goes, hey, look at this. I can create an algorithm that only creates so much of this thing, the Bitcoin, and it can never vary, ever. So therefore, this is scarcity that humans can't come with. Now, humans have this propensity to fuck around with scarcity because they're economically incentivized to do so. Here they can't. So then they become economically incentivized to own this asset because it's scarce and it cannot be changed because it has this consistent supply curve and a limited number. So Bitcoin becomes this great store of value. And it would look like gold because gold's a good store of value. It's worked for thousands of years. But Bitcoin has this other thing to it. It's a network, which gold isn't, and it's technology, which gold isn't. So we have use cases and the benefits of building a network. So suddenly it goes up exponentially in price. Roll on to 2015, and suddenly somebody's looking at the blockchain and they start saying, imagine if these bits on the blockchain, which is where you record the ownership of something, in Bitcoin, it's Bitcoin itself. What happens if we could put a contract in there? Because humans live off contracts. Everything is basically a contract in our legal terms. And that was the rise of Ethereum. It became a platform where you could programmably change the blockchain. Not the attributes of the blockchain. You couldn't remove anything off that ledger, but you could change the little holding buckets and say, well, it can look like this, it can look like that, it can adopt to this. And those things were verifiable as well, so they couldn't change. So this created Ethereum, which became the platform. So if you think of Bitcoin as this store of value, this very pristine, beautiful thing, then you think of Ethereum as also a very beautiful thing, but it's a much broader application because it's like programmable money, the internet. It's, as you said, I mean, everybody has to use Ethereum basically that uses this crypto rails, unless you're just in the Bitcoin world. But everything that we've talked about, and everybody will have, even if you're not very familiar with the space, will have heard the term DeFi or NFTs or tokens. Basically, most of that is still being built on Ethereum. People using it, a bunch of businesses now building on it, and this advertising monetization structure. Shareholders get rich. You and I get to unfortunately meet somebody from university that we don't want to talk to, that we met 20 years ago and we're now connected with again. It's that. But the network that Ethereum and Bitcoin does is different. You're the owner of the network and the user. So as a user, like you said, with the NFT, you're actually owning a share of the network itself. So everybody uses it, owns a part of it. Therefore, if the network's going to get used a lot, you're all going to get rich. And the value of the network is going to go up massively. And the more people build interconnections, so Metcalfe's law is not only just the number of nodes, i.e. the number of users, but how much they connect with each other. Well, you're seeing it because there's NFTs and there's DeFi and there's all of these applications, or the store of money aspect. These things all together, and then there's the linking of all of these, like Chainlink or some of these other protocols, Polkadot. They're linking all this ecosystems together. So I can send you $1 instantaneously, and we have no idea whether it went on Bitcoin rails, XRP rails, Ethereum rails, and guess what? We don't care. I promised you $1, you want to get the dollar instantaneously. That's interoperability, that's all coming. So this is what Ethereum is about. It's the magnitude of this network where everybody's developing everything on top of it, and it's scarce supply. So it's seeing an even faster adoption rate than Bitcoin now. 80% chance that Bitcoin over the next 5 years is going to $250,000. That's a reasonable odds. What's the 20% chance that it doesn't? Okay, so you need to have both of those things in your mind at any one stage and be assessing them. I learned that from the book, I think it was The Alchemy of Finance by George Soros, who was probably the most famous of all of the macro investors. And he would talk about this a lot, that you have to have these kind of logic trees or probability trees. And once you understand that, you can even bet against yourself, which is really hard to do, and I can't do it. But some of the best traders can be, long the S&P. They think the S&P is rising, but then they think the odds of it falling are getting higher, and they start selling against themselves. It's like, it's very hard to do. But that kind of investing teaches you to keep an open mind, because you're looking at the whole world, and you have to know that we don't know the outcome. And anybody who tells you that they know what's going to happen, it's just a fraud. It's just the open mind. So I don't know, but I think, and this is why I think. That's all you need to do. That's open-minded in a nutshell, admitting that you are fallible.
It is a moment where all the people who are angry, frustrated, disenfranchised, this is your fucking shot. And I heard you say this is so powerful. Thinking about the words you said are giving me the chills, where you said this is the first time where the retail investor, so the average everyday person, gets to front run, meaning go before the big institutions. It's always been the other way around. The big institutions take the cream off the top for themselves, and then all of us get the leftovers. And this is the first time where it's flipped.
So if you think about Robinhood or any of these big IPOs that have just happened, what they're basically doing is there's a bunch of VCs who've made 1,000x, 100x, whatever the number is, and have got obscenely rich, investing in something that you're not allowed to invest in because of the law, because you're not an accredited investor. And in fact, the system's so set up that you're never, ever going to be shown this opportunity. And then, at the very end, when the asset's gone up so much, they then list it on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ and dump it on retail when the best gains have been had. Now, within that, there's always going to be an Amazon and a Microsoft and an Apple. But your chances of getting it at the higher price, so you're the 52,000 guy and not the averaging at 30,000, your probability of success is always lower than those guys. So the system is against you. In this, the institutions are being held back by regulation and can't do it. But we're not. And we know that they have a lot of money because it's actually our pensions. And so they're going to put our pensions in this in the end. Well, we might as well make money from them coming into the market later and driving up prices ridiculously, because that is what's going to happen. Once this ETF is listed, every RIA in America is going to be advising their clients to buy the Bitcoin ETF and the Ethereum ETF, and it'll drive another $500 billion of price appreciation. You know, this is all coming, and it is the opportunity. And I've tried to set everybody up like you. I've had that sense of responsibility about. That's okay. You'll find the thing that interests you, and you'll find your way in, and then you'll go down the rabbit hole. But yeah, I passionately believe, that the future of everything is based around community. You have a community in what you do. I have a community around what I do. And part of community is the inherent, or the inherent agreement that you're all in this together. I'm not going to be extractive of you, and you're not going to be extractive of me. But together, we can all benefit from being part of this community. Crypto is a community in its own right, and we're all benefiting from being part of that. We're all part of that community.
Raoul Paul once again is successful in driving his point. Crypto is life-changing. Crypto is the future. He says with conviction that we all have no excuse not to educate ourselves, and we need to jump on the crypto bandwagon as soon as we can. Anyway, what do you think about what he had to say about the future of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies in this interview? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, do give it a like and do click on subscribe so we can keep updating you on the crypto world. Till the next video, this is Crypto Revolution.